Hello, 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 my lovely people. Hey, guys, I have missed you guys, and I know I've been away for a few days, but I'm back with another video. And as you guys have probably already seen the title, and that is we're going to be talking about, do women cheat? And if so, why do women cheat? So I decided to talk about this particular topic because you guys probably already know a lot of times when people are talking about cheating, a lot of times they think that, oh, well, it's men who mostly cheat, or, men cheat the most, or, as society automatically thinks of the man. And we never really talk about women and if women even cheat, which of course they do. There's many women that cheat. And why do women cheat? Why? And so I am this basically going to be giving my perspective on this particular topic. Now, have I ever cheated before? No. No. Now, let's let's define cheating, right? So I feel like with cheating, I always tell people this. I think that when you are dating or you are courting someone or whatever you're doing, and you are thinking about, you know, making things more serious with a person, in that process, you have to talk about just certain things. It's part of getting to know someone, part of, trying to figure out if this person fit in what you're trying to do and how you're trying to move in life. And so, with that being said, one of those topics should be, about boundaries. What are you guys' boundaries? What is considered cheating? Because you have people who may say, oh, well, if I give a woman or a man my card, that's not cheating. Cheating is physical only. You have to have sex to cheat. And unfortunately, there are several people who think like that and believe that. There are several people who cross the line, in my opinion. Me personally, I see it all the time. I see married people, men and women, kind of overstep boundaries. You know, um, I see, like, for example, as a woman, I had a married man tell me before, and this was years ago. This wasn't recently. This was years ago. But I had a married man give me his card, as in, like, okay, well, I'm giving you my card for like business purposes. But as he was walking off, he made the comment that, I can use his card for other reasons. And I thought to myself, hmm, why would I do that? You're married. What other reasons would I need to call you? What could we possibly sit up and talk about? You know what I'm saying? So it's just things like that. So um I decided to talk about this topic, and we never hear, why women cheat, if women even cheat. And so I thought this would be a really good topic. And so let's dive in back to the definition of cheating. Again, I believe that should be, you know, talked about between two people so that you have a clear and good understanding as to what your woman or the lady that you're pursuing, how she feels about certain things, what she thinks. Me personally, if I'm in a relationship with a guy and he's going to the strip club, honestly, I don't like it. I do not agree with it. And I do think that it's a form of cheating. Absolutely, it is. Now, you have some people that say, oh, no, it's not. Oh, that's part of the culture. Oh, that's part of whatever culture, that's society. Okay, well, then that's fine. But let's lay out the law, right? Let's lay out the law. So we're going to consider that not cheating, then that may need to work across the board. Now, me personally, I have never been to a male strip club. I have no desire to go to a male strip club. I'm just not into that type of thing personally. Um, But I'm sure, if there was a situation where a lot of males were around with their shirts off and they're dancing on people, and I'm in a relationship or I'm married, I'm sure my guy would not like that. And even though that situation may not be a strip club, I'm sure he wouldn't like that. So it goes both ways, right? But again, that's one of those topics that I think people should sit down, have a true and real conversation, and get a real understanding. Because a lot of times, what people tend to do is they get in these relationships, and then, something happens. Somebody DMs your girl and or your man, and you're looking at your girlfriend or your boyfriend like, why you didn't stop this way before, like why you didn't check them, why you didn't put them in their place. Well, that's because they didn't think it was cheating. They didn't think that, you know speaking friendly to a woman or a man would lead to them jumping in the inbox and them carrying on a conversation or whatever. Those are things that you have to talk about. So now that we've gotten that out the way, now, like I said before, I've never physically stepped outside of any relationship. Now, have I given my number out? I remember when I was in college, I was dating at that particular time my college boyfriend who I was very serious with. And we got into a fight or something, and he made me extremely mad. And I remember going out and with my girlfriends, I believe that weekend, and I, of course, was approached. And I didn't give my number to all the guys I was approached to. It was just this one guy that caught me at a good time. I was leaving out of the spot, and we were about to go, and he called me. I was walking out, and he was attractive and seemed nice and very well spoken and dressed well and smelled good. And so he asked me for my number, and I gave him my number. And I remember thinking to myself that, oh man, I messed up, because I knew that I shouldn't have gave him my number, and I knew where it was coming from. It was coming from a place of I was mad. And so I never told my boyfriend at the time that's what had happened. I never told him of it at all, to be quite honest. And of course, the guy did call me, but I never answered the phone. I just never answered the phone. Blocked the guy, because I realized that I shouldn't have done that, and that it was not coming from a good spot. And that's the only time, to be honest. That's the only time. I just personally, I'm very against cheating. So I'm really like really set on certain standards, really getting a good understanding. Now, obviously, you have basic reasons as to what cheating is. Obviously, if you have sex with somebody that's not your man or your husband, then it's cheating. Obviously, if you're entertaining a man or woman who wants to have sex with you, but you're calling them your friend or your home girl, your homeboy, but they want to have sex with you, that's cheating. That's cheating. It sure is. So you have these basic, general things that we all know. Okay, if you do this, that's just straight up cheating. But then you have those things where people really, they're kind of on the fence about. They don't really know. And so again, to nip all of that in the butt, I personally think that this is a real conversation that two people need to have, before they get serious with someone, because, nobody wants to be made a fool, and nobody wants to have their time wasted, and no one wants to, have their feelings hurt or be put in a situation where, you may have to, make decisions that you shouldn't have to make in the first place. So, now that we've kind of gotten all of that out of the way, let's talk about, when women cheat, because women do cheat. And let me give you some statistics. Statistically, and I just looked this up, but Men and women who are married. So men and women who are married. Men and women who are married. So these statistics are not coming from people living together, boyfriend and girlfriend, so on and so forth. Because if that was the case, then these would probably be way, way higher. But these are statistics on men and women. And statistically, they're reporting that between 10 and 20% of men and women who are married step outside of their marriage. I repeat, between 10 and 20% of men and women who are married step outside of their marriage. Okay, so to me, that is a big number. I'm not surprised by it. Whatsoever. Now, it did not break down what percentage of women do it or what percentage of men do it. To be quite honest, I truly think that in this day and time, I believe there are just as many women as there are men, if not more. And since this video is about whether or not women cheat, and if so, why, we're going to break some of that down. And I'm going to give you guys, again, what I have seen, what I've observed, what I have read, studied, experiences that I have seen with close friends and family and things like that. So I believe I have a really good concept of why a woman would cheat if she did. Okay. I believe there are a lot of misconceptions that, like I said, only guys cheat. And we know that's not true. We know that there are several women that cheat. But then there's also a misconception of, well, that's for the young folks. No, booze. Cheating is from young to old. It's just as many young women out there cheating as it is older women out there. Okay, so please do not think that, oh, well, that's them young girls out there just, busting it wide open. No, them older ones are busting it wide open too. So that's a misconception because we tend to think, when they're older, it's kind of like, oh, well, that's my mom, or that's somebody's mom, or somebody's auntie, or that's somebody's, big cousin or whatever, grandmother. I don't know. You got some young grandmothers out here these days, okay? So we tend to think, oh, well, that's somebody's grandmother. Please, granny and mama and big auntie, they getting a freak on big time. Okay. And I have spoken to several men who have told me that they have been cheated on. One man in particular was married to a woman for 13 years and she cheated on him. Now, they had 3 beautiful children together. And she cheated on this man. This man was out working, making a living, trying to support his family. And he comes home to a woman who cheated on him. And of course, it broke his heart. And of course, it was unexpected because, again, a lot of people tend to think that, oh, well, women don't cheat or women are not as likely to cheat. And that's just not true. Okay. So I will say this: when women cheat, I personally believe that it starts from an emotional space. I don't care how hard a woman portrays herself to be. I do not care how much she, tries to make people think she's got it together. I don't care how loving and caring she may portray herself to be. I don't care about none of that stuff. I'm not fooled by none of that stuff. I know that it all starts from an emotional space for women. And I believe for men, it can be emotional, but I believe that men can also differentiate between emotional and logical. They can also, men can, I believe that that's kind of something that's different. I believe that all cheating that comes from men is not necessarily emotional cheating. I don't believe that. I believe that it can come from different, places that has nothing to do with a man's emotions. But for women, I believe that I would say maybe I can't say 100% obviously, but I would say 98%. And those are just my own statistics. So you guys don't quote me on this. You feel free to look it up. And if you disagree or if you agree, put your comments down in the comment section and let's have a conversation about it. But I would say it's 98% of cheating. When a woman cheats, it starts emotionally 98% of the time. Because as women, I mean, that's just kind of how our creator, God, created us. We were created to, be nurturers and loving and caring, as of course men as well. But women, I would say, we are the mothers of, humanity, the mothers of, raising our children and teaching and, nurturing and things like that. So for women, as a woman, that's what we're kind of known for. And a lot of those things they're emotional. They have to do with our emotions, our feelings, how we feel about stuff. And so because of that, sometimes with many women who cheat or have cheated before, time and time again, like every time almost ever known anyone to cheat, it always started out emotionally. And usually it goes from it being starting from an emotional place and it then goes into sexual. Okay. And then from the sexual, it can go into other different areas. But I believe it starts emotional and then goes to sexual. I believe it also starts emotional and then it can go into pain, cheating out of pain, cheating because a woman feels like she's been wrong. Like, you know, I don't know if you guys ever heard of revenge cheating. A revenge cheating, a lot of times from, back in the 90s and 80s and things like that, when that whole perspective of, oh, men cheat the most, men, and so we started hearing this term, women, when they cheat, it comes from a place of, get back, I want to get him back. And so that's one of the reasons as well. But it starts emotionally. um And I believe it goes from being emotional, like I said, to sexual. And then also it goes from being emotional to, you know, thinking that they can fill a void of being pained, being hurt, harmed by whatever man that they are involved. And a lot of times, unfortunately, women that do this, they end up in a worse place than they started out. Because the thing about it is when you cheat based off of, I'm going to get this person back, then you're creating another soul tie with a whole different person. And now those feelings and emotions that you thought were going to bring you good feelings and emotions because you're fulfilling this, I'm going to get him back type of thing. Those feelings turn and they make you feel worse than what you were a lot of times. Um, but yeah, they can, a lot. And then men, of course, they can definitely cheat out of, being wronged or, feeling some type of pain. Um, so I believe that's where it starts. It starts with the emotions, and then it leads or can lead to sexual cheating. Now, you guys do know that there is a such thing as emotional cheating. And as guys, I'm sure if you're men that are listening or ladies, I'm sure you've had situations where you met a guy and you told the guy, "Oh, I have a man." He's like, "Oh, well, what your man got to do with me?" And so basically, he's extending an invitation that, hey, we can still do this thing. We can still, get together and cheat. We can still go there, even if you have a man. And so, he's basically telling you that, okay, well, we can start this thing off on a sexual tip or an emotional tip. But a lot of times it starts out emotional. Starts out talking on the phone, texting, you know, somebody jumping in your DM, hitting you up, telling you, how much they want to see you, and all of this. And That goes from friendly, nice, we just cool to now we having sex. And so a lot of women don't understand that. A lot of women also think that um, that revenge cheating is, they think the revenge cheating is, it really just, and again, that this is coming from just my own person. I just really think, you know, I'm a little old school in the way that I see it, because I think that, a cheater is a cheater, and I don't like cheaters, period, man or woman. But I think as women, I just feel like it just makes you look so much worse. Because think about it. As women, it's like, okay, if you cheat and then you go off and cheat on your man with somebody else, you didn't had two penises in your vagina within a month of each other, two different ones. I mean, come on, that's nasty. It's just, when you think about it like that and you put it into logical context, or within weeks, some people, they do revenge cheating. They had sex with their man on Saturday, and then they having sex with a whole nother different person 4 days later. I mean, some chicks out here, yeah, yeah. And that just makes you look so bad, even if it is revenge, even if it is whatever. Okay. Now, please do not get it twisted. This video is not about, you know, um, not about, how wrong women are for cheating. Anyone who cheats, man or woman, is a horrible person. And that's just how I feel, and that's how I view cheating, period. And of course, I mean, not physically. Now, if you cheat physically, I think you're a horrible person. Now, if there's, emotional cheating and stuff like that, I do believe, because I'm a person who kind of analyzes situations and thoughts, and how people process information, I kind of look a little deeper into it. So I don't want you guys to think that, oh well, I'm going in on the ladies, because this is really not what this video is about. I just feel like we don't talk about this particular subject. We always talk about why men cheat. Do men cheat? We all know the answer. I mean, how many, that's been going, that question and those topics have been talked about forever in the day. Nobody talks about women. Why women cheat? What makes a woman cheat? you know and it's time, and it's why I decided to do this video. So let me see, let me look at my notes, because I want to stay on track. So I believe that there are 5, it could be more, and you guys can add to this. Feel free to drop your comments down in the comment section if you want to add to this. But like I said, for women, it starts out emotional, it goes from emotional to being sexual, or it starts out at emotional and then it goes from emotional to being um into pain, like cheating because they were wronged or they were hurt, revenge cheating, things like of that nature. Um, Now, why do women cheat? One of the things out of the 5, I believe, is a lot of times there's the connection has been lost. There's been some type of a disconnect. Now, this goes for men and women. A lot of times men will cheat too if there's a disconnect or if the connection was lost. Now, there's a billion reasons why a connection can be lost, and this video is not about those billion reasons. Maybe my next video can be about that. But one of the reasons is that the connection is just gone. There's no connection. The woman does not feel connected anymore for several different reasons. There's so many different reasons as to why that connection has been lost or is no longer there. I find a lot of times, you know, I, I know that, you can't be a perfect person and date and, you know, go through life. I know that we are all imperfect people. But I feel like I needed to say that because, when a person has not healed from past trauma, what'll happen is a lot of times it will particularly with women, it will affect their self-esteem. And when the self-esteem has been affected, what will happen is that there will be some type of a void. And this woman can be in a relationship with a man, and when that connection has been lost, it may cause this woman to feel, just insecure. Um, and also, it can have an effect on the self-esteem. And when that happens, sometimes, they may be out, or they may run across a guy that, showers them with lots of, adoration and lots of, hey, you look good, and compliments and all things like that. And so sometimes that can lead to cheating if a woman has low self esteem and she's in a relationship. And this is not to say that a woman has to be perfect to be in a relationship. Absolutely not. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that when there's an unhealthy level of low self esteem, because to a certain degree and to a certain point, we all, we all go in and out of, having real, real high self esteem, and then maybe dropping down. Our self esteem kind of drops down. Um, and that's just normal in general for men and women, right? Because as you get older, you don't look the same, things start to change, so on and so forth, right? So your self-esteem, and I'm just speaking like physical. I'm not even speaking like what's in the inside, because that's totally different. But with women, that can be an issue, because if a woman, like I said, if she hasn't healed from past trauma, and she feels, I mean, it has affected her it has affected her self-esteem, that can kind of lead to her feeling like she needs confirmation from a lot of different other people other than her man. And a lot of times that can lead to cheating. So if she gets to a point where she has disconnected, or they have disconnected, it could be that the man has disconnected from her. For whatever reason, he disconnects. And now she feels like, okay, well, he ain't paying me no attention. He's not paying me no mind. I might as well get with somebody else that can. Okay. So that's number one. Number two is when a woman feels underappreciated, when she feels neglected or ignored. A lot of times that will lead to cheating. Now, again, there could be a gazillion reasons why a woman feels underappreciated. She could truly be in a relationship with a man who truly does not appreciate her. Or it could be that a man maybe appreciates her, but it's not in the way she feels that she should be appreciated. So if a woman feels like, oh, I need to be told I'm beautiful every single day, because to me, that means that you appreciate me. Of course, that particular ideology is flawed, right? That's just not, reality. No one's going to tell you that. Maybe your mom or your dad, but I mean, people go about their business. They're not going to do that. I mean, not unless you're married already, that's your wife. And even then things change over time, things, so but a woman could feel underappreciated, neglected, or ignored. And a lot of times, you know, she may not even go looking for a man to give her the appreciation that she feels that she needs. It just may come up. It could be she could be at work. She could be at the grocery store, and it could start with a compliment, you know, and it goes from there. And please do not, I don't want any men to get in my comment section talking about, oh, if women do that, then I'm gonna do it. This is not what, see, that's small mindedness. This is not what this is about. This video is just about explaining to people some of the viewpoints of why women cheat. Okay. Now, the next one um, is a woman could crave intimacy. You have a lot of men that go to work. They travel all over the world. They're trying to, bring money in the home. Or you have men who, maybe they're not traveling all over the world, but they don't know how to communicate intimacy with a woman. And, I tell people this all the time. Anybody who I am dating or who is dating me, I strongly encourage them to get to know me. Do not treat me like the last woman you were with. Don't treat me like the woman before or the woman before. I don't care how good of a man you are. I am a different woman. Don't cookie cut me on how you think women should be treated because you read some. No, we are all different. And I encourage women to do the same. You get to know that man, you get to know that woman, get to know them. Figure out what it is that they specifically like. One woman that you may have dated may not like flowers. One man that you may have dated, maybe he didn't like a wake up text every morning. Okay, but then you meet somebody new and maybe that's what they like. Okay, it's just that simple. It doesn't have to be a long, drawn out argument. It doesn't have to be a long, drawn out conversation. This has to do with getting to know people. And to be quite honest with you, and I know I'm kind of going off a little bit on a whole different topic, but I'm going to get back on topic. But I got to say this, you know, with social media like it is, and text messaging, and people are not picking up the phone, people have a really hard time, being social with each other, just holding a just a conversation. So many people have issues and problems with that. And my thing is, when you are talking to somebody and you are getting to know them, you are learning them. When you take them out to eat, when you go to the movies, you're learning what they like, what they don't like, what makes them laugh, what makes them cry, what makes them sad. Those are all things you're learning about a person. When you are interested in somebody, and this goes for women too, in particular, me personally, I get to know that man. If this man loves music, guess what? I want to know what genre he likes, who is his favorite, music artist. Um, because that's going to help. Now, I love music too, obviously, but if that's like his thing, you know what I'm saying? I'm interested in that. I want to know that. I want to know more about you. And then I'm going to take that information and treat you how you want to be treated. It's that simple. I'm not going to treat you like my ex-man, because my ex-man and you are totally different. Y'all may have some of the basic needs and wants, right? We all have basic needs and wants. We all want to be loved. We all want to be accepted. We all want to be cared for, right? We all want to be appreciated. Those are basic needs. When you move from the basic needs into the, okay, what does this person need specifically? I'm going to put it in this particular context. We go to school and we learn everything else. If you wanted to be an electrician, you want to be a doctor, if you want to work on toilets, if you want to paint walls, if you want to build a house, you go to school and you learn how to do that specifically. Relationships is the same thing. You got to learn that person specifically. What do they like to do? How are they? What do I need to know about this particular woman or this particular man? Don't cookie cut. I believe cookie cut is what gets people in trouble. And in this day and time, everybody are using these cookie cut analogies. It's like all women like this. All women. No, I don't like texting all day. I like phone calls. Texting some, but some phone calls as well. I don't like, what else does everybody like? People, a lot of women like, a lot of women, they want to be, taken out to all these different fancy restaurants. I love that. Don't get me wrong. But I'm also okay with, let's go work out together. Let's go hiking. Let's go get on a boat. Let's go do something. I'm not afraid to get my hair wet. I'm not afraid to sweat in my hair because I don't wear, weaves. So I'm there. Don't treat me like that. Now, what I won't do is jump out of a plane. I won't do that. No. Well, I ain't nah, I can't see me doing that. But, don't cookie cut me. Just get to know me, right? And so I encourage men and women to do the same. Now, I know I went off on a little tangent, but I had to say that because it's very important. And also when it speaks to our the point that we were on, craving intimacy. You know, that's one of the reasons that a woman may cheat is because she crave intimacy. The intimacy has been gone, and a lot of times, like I said, this could have to do with whoever she's with. um he doesn't know how to communicate the type of intimacy that she needs. Intimacy for that particular woman may not be, oh, here's $500, like you can buy intimacy. No, this woman may just want you to be at home with her when you're off. Obviously you have to work, and we're talking now. Let me also say that we're talking healthy people here, right? So I know you're gonna have some people that come in talking about, oh well, women like this, those are dysfunctional women. We're not even addressing that. We're talking just regular normal healthy women who we are all alike on a basic level, but then we are all very individual and like our individual things. Just like men are all alike on a basic level for what they need and want from a woman, but then they also all have their individual needs. We're talking healthy men and healthy women, mentally, physically, emotionally, so on and so forth. Okay. Um, the next one is number four is for what is one of the reasons why a woman would cheat, and emotion when there is a man or whoever they're with is being emotionally he's emotionally unavailable. Okay, now this is a big one. Women, we tend to need see men, you guys can kind of you guys communicate differently. So you can go without a 2-hour conversation every other day or once a week or whatever. And some women, they want to talk. They want your attention. They want, to know that you are in love with them and you care for them. You have some men that feel like, oh, well, I paid the bills, don't I? Well, that does not speak love all the way, always. That's more on that's love on that is not an intimate communication. For example, I'm trying to put it into perspective. So, as a man, a woman could communicate her love to you by being submissive and listening to you, listening to your needs. Um, she could communicate that all different types of ways. But then what if there was a woman that said, "Oh, well, he knows that I love him because I cooked him a meal." Well, I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure that speaks to maybe yes, you do love him, but you gonna need to do more than just cook him a meal to portray your feelings and your devotion of love. Sometimes love needs to be physical. Sometimes love needs to be emotional. Sometimes love needs to be communicated, verbally. Okay, there are different ways to communicate, and this goes both ways. But when there is some type of emotion, when there's somebody who is emotionally unavailable, this is a big one because a lot of times this has to do with communication, and a lot of times it's really something that can be fixed. Because I feel like there's a misunderstanding in communication. Um, I'm just gonna add this. As women, and this is what works for me. I can't speak for everybody. This is what works for me. I never jump to conclusions, right? So if I feel that there is a person who I'm with who is emotionally unavailable, I try to dissect every single thing before I begin to feel a certain type of way, and before I allow an issue between me and this person to come up between us, right? So I don't jump to conclusions, right? And I would suggest people do that because I know sometimes as women we can let our emotions get the best of us, and that's just being honest. And not all of us, but a lot of us, right? A lot of us can, and sometimes just taking a day to really think something out. I found that that helps a lot. Now, obviously, there's signs when somebody's, there's emotionally unavailable. They are very short with you. They don't have a lot of time for you. They're not willing to invest their emotions into you. Things like that. Those are all characteristics, right? But then you have to look at the entire picture, because sometimes people, particularly men, they can kind of move in a way that may portray that, especially men who are about their business. They're trying to build wealth. Sometimes they so busy, moving around and doing things that it does not even, they don't even think about, or it doesn't appear to them that they are not, providing that, um being available to a woman or their mate in that way. So it's always kind of good to not jump to conclusions. Maybe even have a conversation with the person, let them know how you're feeling. Obviously, this conversation it has to be a calm conversation. Anytime, you go and you want to talk to a man, it has to be calm. Men are very, and I'm talking healthy men. I'm not talking fools. They get crazy and want to fight you and beat you in top of your head. No, those are fools. I'm talking healthy men. They need um, calmness. No screaming and yelling, because they will not hear you. And no, you better with neck popping and none of that. Just calm. Hey, babe, I think that you are doing such a wonderful job, and I love you. I care for you. I really wish that we can, talk about how I'm feeling. I'm feeling whatever kind of way you're feeling. You guys have a talk. Bam, nip it in the butt. And he may be like, you know what? I didn't even really recognize it. Now he may be in a situation where maybe for whatever reason he feels that you, the woman, you're emotionally unavailable to him. And he may have his reasons. Maybe you're not giving him enough sex. Maybe I don't know. That's something y'all gotta talk about. But a lot of times it has to do with communication. And the very last thing for um why women would possibly cheat is a woman can become too dependent on her man. Now, people will say, "What? How is that?" What I mean by that is that sometimes, us as women, when we get into a relationship with a man, we just want to throw our entire self at this man's feet in the beginning. We want to prove to him that we are the best woman he's ever had. We're going to love him the best. We're going to be there for him the best. We're going to understand him. I mean, we want to be there just the best. We want to be the best of the best. And so sometimes that can create being too dependent. And what will happen is, when this man has to go out and work, when this man has to go take care of business, when this man can no longer take you on weekly dates every week, every Friday, y'all used to go on dates, and now he can't go every Friday. Now you feel, you know, oh, well, he's unable to do that. So I'm not happy with that. I'm dependent on him to do that, because I don't have other friends to do it with, or that's where I get my social whatever from. And so you don't want to get to a place where you're too dependent, because what will happen is you depend on the man for every single little thing. You can't move from throughout your day-to-day activities without depending on him for every single little thing. And then when he's unable to meet that, um, now you're looking for somebody else to meet it. Now you know what I'm saying? So sometimes that can lead to cheating. Um, and so yeah, that's pretty much all I have. So I'm gonna kind of give you guys a recap as to some of the reasons as to why women would cheat. And again, this is not the whole list. You guys feel free to add to it and give your own explanations. But the first one was um, disconnected. There's no longer a connection. When there's no longer a connection, a lot of times that's an emotional thing for women, and some women will step outside of the marriage or step outside of the relationship. Now, is this right or wrong? I already told you guys this. Cheating, no matter who it comes from, is wrong. I don't agree with any of it. Okay. A woman who feels Number 2 is a woman who feels underappreciated, which means she feels neglected or ignored. Nobody wants to feel neglected and nobody wants to feel ignored. And it could just be that she feels this way, you know. Another reason why is that a woman may crave intimacy and she feels that she's not getting intimacy the way she needs to have intimacy. And this is a big one for me because I've known guys that, I mean, they're just not the Philly, touchy, huggy, I love you, oh, come here type of men, and sometimes, their intimacy is, saying something nice like once a month because they believe that because I pay the bills and I pay this and I pay that and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, that's intimacy. And it sure is. It sure Providing is a form of intimacy. But as guys know, I already explained this to you guys. Men need they need physical intimacy as in sex, and guess what, they need emotional intimacy, they need supportive intimacy. So there's all types of ways intimacy can be communicated, and women have those as well. And that's why it's so important that we get to know the specific woman that you are in a relationship with. Women, you get to know the specific type of men that you are dealing with, what he needs, what he wants, so on and so forth, so that you are able um to help him with what he need, what his intimacy craving may be. Number 4 is emotional. They are emotionally unavailable. Talked about this one. This is also a really big one to me. And then the very last one, which is number 5, is that the woman may feel too dependent on the person that she's with. Of course, you want to depend on your man, but you should not have to depend on a man to go to the restroom. Just get up and go, sis. You shouldn't have to. I mean, if the man is, you shouldn't have to depend on a man to, help you be happy. That's intimate. That's inside. You do that in the inside. So there are certain things that you shouldn't have to depend for. It's things that you do with that happens on the inside. And sometimes when those things are not met or done, the woman could feel a certain kind of way, and it could cause her to want to step outside her marriage or relationship. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I would like to ask you guys to like, subscribe, and share. And again, please leave your comments in the box below. I would love to know what's on your mind. If you agree, if you disagree, if you have something to add, please let me know. Thank you for tuning in to CodeBlaque. And you guys can drop certain topics in the comment section as well. Let me know what you would like, for what topics you would like to talk about or like me to cover. Um, I love you guys, and I hope that you guys have a wonderful weekend. And maybe I'll come on here tomorrow and we will do this all over again. Thank you guys. And also, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. I will post all of my social media platforms within the inbox. So don't forget to follow me on all of those. And I think that's all I have. Yeah, I think that's all I have. So you guys take care. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.